The question is that this bill be now read a second time. I give the call to the member for Fairfax.
Speaker, thank you very much. I'd like to congratulate the member for Bruce for making the most sensible speech I've heard him make in Parliament. With the exception of the giggle-worthy comments at the beginning of his speech trying to critique the government, I thought it was otherwise quite a common sense, sensible approach, and I'd like to congratulate him on it. Because at the end of the day, we are talking about a bill here relating to nuclear science, and a lot of people in Australia would hear those words and think that this bill must be esoteric in some shape or form, because often people think that nuclear science has very little to do with their daily lives, or indeed even to their long-term interests. At one fundamental level, that's obviously pretty understandable and perhaps inevitable. Nuclear science is obviously a pursuit of a tiny minority of unbelievably intelligent people dealing with matters, and with matter itself, but dealing with matters that very few of us could even begin to comprehend. To the vast majority of us, nuclear science can seem incomprehensible. Say the word nuclear in Australia and many people will immediately be invoked with thoughts of nuclear weapons, and it will immediately trigger debate and, among some, concern. But people rarely think of the more benign, beneficial aspects of nuclear research. However, this bill encourages us to do just that, to provide greater flexibility to promote nuclear research and direct collaboration with industry and universities via minor amendments to the legislation of 1987, which established and continues to govern the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation, ANSTO, as a corporate Commonwealth entity. The amendments reflected in this bill are necessary, not just because of the positive outcomes and direct impacts here in Australia, but also in light of Australia's long-standing participation in this science. The obvious example to point to is health. And a statistic I read today that I'd like to repeat, Deputy Speaker, in this House, because I found it amazing. Around 1/3 of all medical procedures now conducted in our hospitals have a nuclear science component. 1/3, involving radiation or radioactivity as a diagnostic or even as a therapeutic tool. And on average, every one of us at some point in our lives will have a brush with radiopharmaceuticals and nuclear medicine. Applications are extremely broad. Nuclear medicine is relevant in sectors from cardiology to paediatrics to psychiatry. Some cancers are now being detected 2 years earlier than they otherwise would be, thanks to nuclear medicine. And such early diagnosis obviously saves lives. The vast range of procedures, including irradiation of bones and tendons that are intended for transplants or grafting. Irradiation is also used for sterilisation of bandages, cotton tips, iPads, and other materials used for implants. Bone imaging can be used to diagnose stress fractures and is widely used not only in our hospitals but by vets, especially in the horse racing industry. And the list of medical benefits which have real application to our lives is all but endless. Another area of benefit from nuclear science is, in fact, food safety. Irradiation of foodstuffs at safe levels, far too low to induce radioactivity, can and does make both domestically produced and imported foods safer to eat and for longer. An extension in agriculture involves balancing the use of our precious water resources with maximum productivity. Grape growers, for example, optimise their crops when water is delivered to their vines at precisely the right times and in the right quantities. Nuclear moisture probes pushed into the soil provide extremely accurate data to enable irrigation that's just right, generating big boosts in overall productivity, profit and sustainability. Similar technology is being applied to many other irrigated crops, with equally significant environmental and productivity benefits, which is a very significant thing in a country like Australia, which is just so dry. Other agricultural applications of nuclear technology include sterilised male fruit flies released into the wild that don't breed. This technology, helping to control pests via sterilisation, has enormous extended benefits by helping to reduce insecticides in the environment, and is now a very common means of controlling insects, pests worldwide, including right now in controlling fruit flies in southeast Australia. Many other industries and procedures also benefit remarkably from nuclear science. Steel rolling mills use super accurate nuclear science enhanced gauges to get precisely the right dimensions in their products. And the same applies in accurate measurements of everything from the amount of product in soft drink bottles to the precise composition of detergent ingredients and even jet engine fuel. Closer to home, smoke detectors rely on nuclear science, with tiny amounts of radioactive materials measuring the quality of the air, triggering that life-saving beep exactly when it's needed. Even watch faces that glow in the dark owe that glow to very, very small amounts of radioactive materials, and their now ubiquitous personal computer and many other electronic devices rely on silicon chips that have been irradiated in a way that turns some atoms to phosphorus, enhancing the semiconducting capability of the chip. The mantles used in gas lanterns that have lit many a camping trip, microwave ovens, electric lights and car windshields all owe something to nuclear science. I could go on, providing a long list of examples demonstrating how nuclear science, peaceful nuclear science and research, is contributing to our daily lives and to our industries in positive ways, and very often unrecognised outside the immediate environment in which they have their impact. And it should be a source of pride to Australians that our nuclear scientists and our nuclear facilities, restricted as they are, have been significant players in the field at a global level for so many decades. The principal use of our first reactor at Lucas Heights from the late 1950s, when it was commissioned, was for medical purposes. Its purpose was to produce neutrons for the production of nuclear medicines and for other civil scientific use that has led to countless lives saved and massive contributions to industry. We produce our own nuclear medicines and have done so for a very long time. The successor to Lucas Heights, the Opal reactor, opened at the same site in 2007 and for the same purpose. And it's a state-of-the-art facility, one of the best and most important of its type in the world. And the science that's being applied there today accounts for 60 years of Australian expertise in the production of nuclear medicines, industry technologies and academic research. Opal will, it's expected, become a major source of supply of nuclear medicines globally. A former major supplier, a reactor in Canada, closed last year, and a number of other worldwide are ageing. So we have increased our capacity and our output to mitigate a potentially serious global shortfall. And this is also, as a residual benefit, good for the Australian economy. Deputy Speaker, this bill seeks to further leverage our experience and the quality of our contribution in nuclear science. We are globally recognised as a significant player in this space, albeit from the exceedingly narrow base of a single nuclear reactor, and the government wants to enhance our contribution because we have in our science community, in our population, the innovative capacity to do so at a level that can lift our already significant reputation based on real achievements up to even higher levels and continue to deliver tangible benefits. We want more to flow from that expertise, more life-saving breakthroughs in medicine, more benefits for agriculture, for the environment and also for industry. This bill gives ANSTO, the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation, the legislative flexibility it needs to develop that opportunity by establishing an innovation precinct comprised of 3 elements: a graduate institute, an innovation incubator and a technology park, to better enable ANSTO to boost outcomes by sharing the knowledge, facilities and properties it has with other entities and individuals, and to become an even more effective conduit between research, industry and universities. The specific proposal facilitated by this bill to establish an innovation precinct in ANSTO's Lucas Heights campus aims to crowd in scientific partners, knowledge-intensive businesses, high-tech industry and STEM graduates from around Australia's regions into a premium nuclear facility and also a hub of knowledge. Now, this is by no means an insignificant aim. As once established, the ANSTO Innovation Precinct will become the world's first nuclear science and technology incubator. Innovation that is in lockstep with the government's national science statement and objectives of our national innovation and science agenda. These reforms are key to the Coalition's policy and vision, whether it be in the defence industry or nuclear science. Our aims are the same, and that's to drive growth in our capability and our economy, to create jobs through investment and ongoing innovation. And it's no wonder, therefore, that the members opposite do support this bill. It's no wonder that in consultation with industry groups, universities and local governments, all are so excited about this new vision for ANSTO. It's hard not to be. The potential here is unmissable. The only exception, of course, to this, Deputy Speaker, are the barking mad Greens, but that should go without saying. This is all good news, of course, but there is a further imperative, and that is the need to capture and hold new technology and skills in Australia. As Australia has to date sought to deny itself a nuclear energy sector at even a minimum level, we lag our peers in the application of the technology in that regard. If we are, however, to continue down this path, or if indeed we decide to seriously explore the nuclear option for energy purposes, then a small but highly capable and well-resourced nuclear science-based experts will keep open a better range of options for our country. In this 21st century, the scale and pace of knowledge generation and the application of that knowledge is blurringly fast. If we want to stay in the main game, we have to accelerate, because standing still is never an option. And it's for that reason that I commend the bill to the House.
Thank you for your contribution, Member for Fairfax. The question